release the elders funds to the program.
Elders,
Personnel.
yeah, I wanna act elders committee and, elders funds. Release of the elders funds, probably.
Probably under, just put it on one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have no other additions and deletions.
Which, okay, if there's no other additions or deletions, I will call for a motion to approve the agenda. Moved by Ray, is there a second? Seconded by Dave, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Approval of minutes.
Normal staff.
Motion is to minutes, sir.
Oh, sorry, approval of the minutes for the June 21st, 2017 meeting. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Any questions or corrections to the minutes? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the June 21st, 2017 minutes. Moved by Dave, is there a second? Second by Ray, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried. Wow.
All right, now introduction to staff.
Morning, Wendy. Morning, Pete.
Next, we have the consent agenda.
Consent agenda is for approval of a fundraiser, 50/50 Raffle and Breakfast for Heather Nelson, Council Poll, Bolt was 400. For the audience, or for those that don't know, Heather Nelson works for us for the Head Start program, and her son was hit by a car and ended up in the hospital. This was to help offset any medical costs or appointments. Call for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Moved by Ray, is there a second? Second by Dave, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried.
And I don't believe we did the raffle, but we ended up doing the breakfast that day.
Oh, that's right.
So. First, we got Angie King for Capita Policy. First, we get a person policy.
Good morning, Angie. Okay, yes. You want to do the birth certificate first? Yeah.
This is just so we have something in writing. There's nothing in writing saying that we do buy birth certificates and bad records or anything. This is just so we have something to show that. do have money that's set aside in my budget for that. We never go through what's budgeted for it, but I bet you maybe between 6 and 10 a year.
Do you think people know about it, or do you inform them when they contact you, or?
I don't think they know about it, but I do, if they come in for a title ID and they don't have anything, I tell them that I can get them a birth certificate. But with me ordering it, it can take up to 12 weeks for me to get it. But if they go right to the courthouse, they can get it right then and there. A lot of people don't have the money to go either, or they don't have an ID to go through.
So they will wait for 12 weeks?
It usually doesn't take 12 weeks, but it usually takes 3 to 4 maybe, but they'll wait if they have to.
I see that, when Mark reviewed the policy, that there states something regarding adoption,
Yep,
and that, you can request an adoption birth certificate, but the applicant would not get that birth certificate
if it's,
sealed.
yep. If it's sealed, then I get it, and usually the only reason I would get one of them is for enrollment.
But if they were requesting a birth certificate after their adoption, they would get the post-adoption birth certificate.
Yep.
Any questions on this policy? Just the policy. If people want to request a copy of their birth certificate, we can provide them with that.
If I have it on file, it's okay.
No other questions? I'll call for a motion to approve the birth certificate purchasing policy.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second? Second by Dave. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Silent. Motion carried. Angie, can you put that on our website so people are aware of it? Because I don't even know if, program people are aware of it. So.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Now, Capita Policy.
This was actually created after the fire, but then just got done with it.
Okay.
And I keep going over it and changing things here and there. But this is basically just so that everybody has the same information. They know what they need to do to get their per cap, they know that they have to have their address changed in at a certain time. Basically, if it does get approved, then it would get mailed out to all the band members, that way everybody has a copy. And they know what they need to do. Kind of basically putting the onus back on the band member to make sure their address is updated in time.
We've pretty much been following this anyway, right?
Basically, the only big change that I put in here was that if somebody is gonna request somebody else to come in and pick up their per capita because it got returned, it has to be a notarized statement.
It
But other
just,
than that, it's basically what we've been following.
I know that, there's some timelines in here that, per capita payments will be issued to all eligible band members enrolled as of March 31 of that year.
Yep.
Then after March 31, if they be eligible, the following year, questions regarding deceased individuals in that eligible band members must be living as of August first. If they pass before August first, the estate will not be able to receive that payment. However, if they pass away after August first, the capital will be dispersed to their estate.
Yeah.
The question I have, Angie, is on the first page, section 4, for Capita Policy violations. It says something about failure to comply by any member of the Bois Forte tribal government may be grounds for disciplinary action. What's that?
I'm assuming that means,
Section 4, I'm sorry, page 1, policy.
I'm assuming that means, taking any checks off-site.
Okay. For protection of the capital payment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually wasn't involved when this got created,
Okay.
so I'm not really sure what that is, but that's what I'm assuming it means.
As Mark reviewed this was developed in 2010.
I've sent it to him a couple times, but I've never gotten a response.
Okay. Because he must have generated the first one.
I believe Philip Rodeen.
In general, it had been approved because it's part of the accounting policies when the council approved the updated accounting policy back in 2010. It's in that part, but I think you've made changes since then.
So it's in your accounting policies?
Yeah.
Oh, good morning.
I think that's in the, cause I know I have some sort of two different policies that are on my computer when I got, the earlier position. And one of them was the per capita offset policy.
Oh, I'm sorry, thanks, that was.
Well, at the last meeting here, unfortunately, we did approve for starting in 2018
Yeah.
offset policy. And I figured when we mailed that, I would send out the policy at the same time.
Okay.
But if you want to put it in there too, I don't have it right in the policy.
Yeah, it's not.
So we have the policy already, but it's not part of this document.
No.
It could be easily added.
Yeah, you could just say that, all, something to the effect of all per capita payments are subject to that. I can't remember the name of the policy.
That'd be a section, maybe you make it section 6.
Yeah.
What about maybe chapter 4? Because they're chapters.
The chapter relates to the accounting policy, probably.
Okay, got it. Section 6.
What would we call it, garnishing?
What is that, you don't remember the name of that policy, Kim?
No, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Any other questions on the policy? Comments? If not, we could, call for a motion to approve the per capita policy with the addition of section 6 to incorporate the policy regarding garnishment of the per capita to be added to this policy. That was previously approved by the tribal council.
I'll move with the additional section 6
Dave, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angie.
Next we have Barb Brodeen with the Recreational lease.
Good morning, Barb.
We have a recreational lease for Teresa Nike. It's a 10-year lease. Basically, it's a renewal.
For recreational use. Motion to approve made by Ray, is there a second? Second by Dave, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried. Thank you, Barb.
Next we got Miranda with, training, personal policy revision, and annual leave accrual.
Good morning, Miranda.
Good morning. So the first item I have for the council, actually is a request for a sole source. It's for training that would be specific to one of our departments. We wanted to give this department some specific training, and it was a little unique. We wanted to try and go with a Native American trainer, and we had one that was recommended, and due to unforeseen circumstances, he's not able to provide the training for us. So it took me a little bit, and I found this lady. Her name is Denise Alley. I met her at the National Native American Human Resources Conference, and she's going to do, I'm requesting that we engage her to do some communication training for the department specifically, and then since she's here, open up another day training to any RTC staff.
Okay.
And so the department does have the money for their portion of the training, and then we have money in the training budget for the other day, but kind of to offset the money that it would take to bring her on site, we would ask maybe the programs to pay a small fee for all we're attendees here at Bois Forte. And so I'm asking the council to approve option B. She gave us two options.
Okay.
The first option A is for a half-a-day training for the department specific, and then a full day training for the rest of the tribal government. But option B is 2 full days, one dedicated specifically to that department and one dedicated to tribal government staff that would like to attend.
And you said there's money in the budget to cover the cost, right?
Yes, there is.
So the total cost for the 1 day,
No, that would include both
both
days.
days, and the programs are gonna cover it, so it's $52.94.
Yes.
It's got communication skills, team building. Good training. If there's no questions, I'll call for motion to approve the sole source training with Denise Alley. The amount of 52. The amount of
this is training too that, was identified by the department that I've been working with. And, you know, so there's a need for this type of training.
Okay.
So it was recommended by staff within that department. And then the discussions with Miranda was to go over here and it's $200 more, which is what it up for a day for the rest of the staff.
Moved by Brandon, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trav, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Thank you. The next item we have is the personnel policy revision. This revision is a result of numerous meetings with our staff, a few years ago. It has sat, sections 1 through 5 of the personnel policy revision were approved, I believe, over a year ago, possibly 2 years ago. The rest of it has just sat, and so meeting with the council, I believe last week or a week before. What's on the agenda is sections 6 through 16.
Miranda, the senior management worked on this a few years back.
It was a combination of senior management as well as employees identified within each department that wanted to work on the personnel policy revision. And so it was really a mix of tribal government employees, at that time that worked on it.
And basically, they opened it up to any employees that wanted to participate in the revisions.
When I sent the electronic version to the council, last week, I also included, Mark Anderson as well as senior management. And I hadn't received any comments as of yesterday, so I'm hoping that means they're all okay with it.
And they were at the time when we submitted this for approval by the council.
Yeah.
So everybody had their input and we found recommendations. So basically, this did come from the employees
Okay.
stating that these are the changes that need to be made and implemented.
Six through 16.
What's next?
What's in here is, what we discussed last week, although it's not approved yet. So if we were to change something, we could make a change to this based on the next RTC agenda.
Okay, I just had one question.
Sure.
I was looking for something in here in regard to leaves of absence.
Mm-hmm.
And I just not see it.
Yep. That is section, it's under the leave without pay section.
It's under page 3. And up to.
Yeah, so it would be
Oh, okay.
611. And so up to 5 days would be leave without pay, and then from anywhere from 5 days up to 1 year, you would call that a leave of absence. And so an employee can request that. make that more visible.
Yeah, just make it more visible, put it in the index.
Sure.
That's all. This has been reworked several times. All staff had an opportunity to work on it.
Yes.
Commissioners had input.
Yes.
And it's been a long process, right? So let's finalize it. Madam Chairman, if I
Yes.
make a motion to approve the personnel policy revisions.
There's quite a few in here.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
really-
I understand that, but it's just kind of
I'm going-
you know, regarding.
Yeah, oh, sure. Yeah.
I know like all our employees get a copy of it, any new employees or part-time employees, we get a copy of all our policies that are, our orientations and stuff now. It's not like it's a document that's hiding, it's there for public.
Right, I'd just be curious as a
Okay.
potential future employee with the policies. If there's anything.
No. Motion made by Ray to approve the personal policy revision just with the one change to the section 611 that Miranda's gonna make. Do you want an effective date?
I suppose I would say immediately, so when we have new hires, they would be, and we'd send it out to all staff.
Effective today? Or what do you suggest?
I would ask her a week or two to make sure we have all of the numbering and things.
To get it all filed,
Yeah, to get that,
document ready?
so we need,
July 15th? Do you want to make it?
I'll amend my motion to have this effective on July 15th, 2017.
Seconded by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried.
thank you. And then the last item that I have is the annual leave accrual. Again, when we updated the job descriptions and the new grades, I did not update the annual leave accrual schedule at that time. And so at the last meeting, I presented the council with a few options. We discussed it at a Monday morning meeting, and what you have in the packet is the result of that meeting. And so employees, non-exempt employees would either start at accruing 4 hours of annual leave per pay period or 6, depending on their grade. Exempt employees would either start at 4, 6, or 8. And so there would be no more starting at 10. Remember, that was a council decision a while ago, that commissioners or directors now would start at 10 hours of leave. And so the employee would, based upon their years of service, move from 4, 6, 8 to 10, wherever they started, or based upon their, where they started in the salary schedule, would begin at that appropriate annual leave accrual.
So basically, kind of what we're doing is limiting the 10 hours, having a max of 8. Correct?
No,
No?
to start with. Employees with over 10 years of service would still earn 10 hours of leave unless the council decided to remove that. But you would only get to 10 after 10 years of service. Nobody would start at 10. punching in and out, but across the tribal government, we do have the, clock track system, and everybody, you know, does have a number, so everybody should be punching in and out. Just because you're exempt doesn't mean you don't have to punch in and out, so if that's an issue, that's probably something you can do with supervisor and employee education, you know, making sure to get, talking with IT, everybody does have that on their computers. It's just a matter of maybe supervisors not requiring their employees to punch in and out, so, you know, we could definitely do some employee education with that. Nobody's exempt from punching in and out.
Miranda, I know that, during the lunch hour period, you're gonna be having some like basic, training for government staff.
Mhm.
Is that a possibility of including that? in
Yep.
that?
We could do that with, I believe the first or second one is
And the 24th, it's time cards.
24th is time card, so we can add that to that. But
We're
we're,
updating our clock track,
Yeah, we-
software,
Yep, we're in the process of doing that too.
so will that be ready by then?
I have to look at
We're-
IT.
We're in the process of talking with Time Track right now to get everything switched over from our old server to our new server, so it's in the process.
Okay.
We're just waiting to hear back to get a for sure date on when we're gonna make that swap. And then that will be up and running.
so we can make sure, at least to make sure that everybody has their clock track number, because that was, at one point, we were talking about going to each individual and saying, here's your clock track number, this is how you punch in, this is how you punch out, this is how you print your time card.
Correct, and the new software is all web-based, so they can get it from, you know, we have punch clocks in two buildings, we have them? Two buildings, so they, when they come in the front door, they'll just be able to punch right in. So,
One of the things I wanted to look for really quickly, just because we're kind of on that subject, is, our, tardiness and absenteeism policy. Right now, if an employee punches in at 8:04, they're not late, even though the start time is 8 PM or 8 AM for most people. And so I know I had put something either in this policy or in the items to consider, was to remove that. Because employees don't have to use leave for being late until they punch in at 8:06, which you're late at 8:01. I mean, you should be to work early, getting ready for the day. So the one thing I wanted to look up before we get too much farther with this is, did you just remove that, allowing them to punch in 5 minutes late? And of course, I can't find it, so
I think, from what I'm gathering from Brandon is he would like to eliminate the 10 hours and just go with 8, is that correct? Brandon, for everybody? That is over 10 years. Cause that's a max, that would be the max.
Right, you know, and I just think that, when you look at this, 8 hours bi-weekly, which means that I'm gonna work, 8 hours is a day. I'm gonna work, 10 days. I'm gonna work 10 days bi-weekly, but you're going to give me one of those days back. Somewhere down the line, you know, and in my head, it that's how it makes sense to me. I can go half-time, and some go worse. Right. Yeah. 20 hours a week, check. But you're gonna give me 10 hours of annual leave.
If an employee worked part-time 20 hours per week, they would only earn 5. So it's prorated based upon the hours that they work?
No, I just meant the time to put in.
Oh,
So I don't know, but that's my thought on it. I'd like more discussion on it and, figure out what we're gonna do, cause it's, that's just my take on it, and there's 4 other people here, and, that's just kinda how I see it. Whatever you guys, wanna do, it's just my piece on it.
Any other comments from?
Well, I guess I look at it differently. And, you know, if somebody puts in 10 years of service with us, and at that point, they can acquire 10 hours per pay period. It's almost, to me, it's like an incentive and a reward. You know, I really appreciate those people that put in 10 years and beyond. And I look at it just, it's a reward system. It's you know, you put 10 years in, you're dedicated, and so here's a little something extra. You earn more. To me, it would be incentive. If I was here 8 years, I'd say, well, you know, 2 more years, I'm gonna earn the 10 hours. And that's the way I look at it. Is a reward system. It's I think those people in that category, I don't see any abuse of their using the leave. I think I can even name a few that don't even, you know, they accumulated 240 hours a year plus, and October 1st, they're gonna lose those extra hours. Is that right? Miranda? You get several like that, that accumulate those hours, but are dedicated to their work, and they sacrifice those and don't take, or they might take a week or 2 vacation prior to the end of the year. So, but to me, it's well deserved. It's time off for good work. And anybody that lasts 10 years, you know, is probably doing pretty good work. So I would,
So-
I'm in favor of the proposal.
So what you're saying is the safety net is the 240-hour cap limit?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so, see, and again, I just, I guess what I'm thinking about is back when they paid all of that annual leave out, and that cost the band a lot of money to do that. So, yeah, I get what you're saying, so the cap, the 240 cap, another thing that I like about, the annual leave, or the whole leave thing is the leave share. I think that's a good thing. Whenever, you know, I feel I'm getting over 240, and somebody needs hours, that's how I get rid of the hours I don't use. I think that's just a good thing, a good policy. I've, you know, given 80 hours at a time to serve people that really needed it. So that's a good part of the policy. I love that part. But with the safety net of the 240 max, yeah, I get what you're saying there.
I think I only remember one time when we paid over the 240, and that was, you know, I was against that at that time, and I would be against it again. But so as long as the council is alert and doesn't allow that to happen again, that's good. I like the
And this includes the council, right?
Yes.
Okay, cause that's another thing, you don't wanna be walking away after your term is done with 600 hours of leave, that's not right either, so. Okay.
Any other discussion on the leave?
Yeah, I guess I can agree with Ray too, that, we have a lot of employees that are longevity employees and when you're, we have a lot of employees that are here a long time. It's just, to help them, from some of these employees, you know, they have, young kids that are in sports and use that leave to, be able to get to those sporting events. And again, you know, then, like I said, you know, there's a lot of people that, around the race, that you get to that point where, you end up losing them at the end of the year. Yeah, and then that leave share, you know, I donated, leave over the years too, to employees and, but yeah, it's good that you said that family medical leave is really, good, because there's a lot of employees that they're sick, or they have home and loved ones that are sick, and they have to be there for them, and, employees that donate leave to them is, really helpful for that, in that time of need, so, I don't have a problem with that. Entertain orders.
Miranda, I have a question for, recent hires.
Sue.
Sorry. I thought I could yell all the names. I have a question for recent hires that are exempt and that started out at 4 hours and then they're very young, now dictates to 6. Are you really adjusted?
That's up to the council and the effective date that they choose if they approve to approve this date. We could go retro, we could go effective today, we could go effective next pay period, that's a choice for the council.
Any other comments on the policy? Now I'll call for a motion to approve the annual leave accrual rate as proposed, by Miranda here with the new, grading schedule.
Miranda, question, since we're in the middle of the fiscal year, would it be wise to just keep things as they are during this fiscal year and change it at the beginning of the coming fiscal year on October 1st?
If you're thinking, you know, we might, I don't know. I guess my recommendation would be is to make it effective the same as the personnel policy. Then you have, you know, the same effective date for different things. If you're thinking we might give people a bunch of leave and they're gonna have to turn around and use it, I don't think we would have anybody in that situation where they would be in jeopardy of losing any leave that, we would dump in there if we were,
So we're not going retroactive. I mean, if we set this for July 15th, that's the effective, that's when it starts.
yeah, so anyone.
Nothing from the past that has to be brought up to date at that point.
Right,
Just start from there.
yeah, so if someone right now was earning 4 and they should be earning 6, come July 15th, they would just start earning 6. We wouldn't go back and give them the difference they should have gotten or anything like that.
Understand.
I have a question. Is July 15th the beginning of a pay period?
Yep, no, I don't know.
I know, that's the only thing, because otherwise it's kind of messy trying to figure if it's a middle of the pay period.
It's a Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, July, it would be
It would,
July 15th is Saturday.
Saturday.
July 10th is the next
24th would be the following start of week.
The 24th be better, give you more time.
Call for a motion to approve the annual leave accrual.
I'll
As
move to
Miranda
approve,
presented.
I'll move to approve the annual leave accrual effective July 24th, 2017.
Motion made by Ray, is there a second? Second by Dave, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
I did double check on that 5-minute late. That was the only change that was added to sections 1 through 5. So if the council didn't include sections 1 through 5 in this, if they punch in at 8:03, they're still not late. So if the council wanted to make that effective, you have to add that addition.
Because we just did 6 through 16.
Yeah, just did 6 through 16. So if the council's okay with that, then no further action needed. If you want them to use leave if they punch in at 8:02 for example, then we'd have to make that change.
But say they were okay with it a year and a half ago, when they approved the first sections, 1 through 5, or 1 through 6.
Yeah, that wasn't the recommendation at that time, so it wasn't posed at that time.
What is it, what do they have to take then if they're punching at 8:02? 2 minutes to leave?
Nothing. We don't have to use
Policy
it.
now. 8:10, is it 8:10?
8:06.
8:06.
They punch in at 8:06 or later, they use 0.25 hours of annual leave.
15-minute increments.
15-minute increments. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the discussion at that time at the management level and employee level was like, if I get in at 8:06, how long do I go outside and have a cigarette? I'll come in at 8:15 and then give my 0.25 hours a week. You know, that was part of the discussion.
I think it's so long, people take, you're gonna be late, so you're gonna be late, go anywhere else, you're in trouble.
Well,
There's so much truth to that.
If you got a question, come up here.
well, what is Fortune baseball in there?
Say it now.
Fortune base uses their, what is their policy, what is their,
Can you say it now?
Fortune Bay already uses it, so what is their policy on their time? Tables, right? Contractors already here, so, but I believe their salary really don't much in on that.
They might be paid just an amount per pay period. We are paid hourly, so
What they do fair employees that show up 7 days, I think it was 7 days last year.
I don't know what their policy is.
But it was 7 days before, 7 days after, time off. So something this year, that really didn't check, they already have a clock. That's another discussion we have to have is where you have the time and stuff much early, to show up right now, it doesn't show. So you said, what is it, you're, they punch in, they show up. Practice for a long time.
Will the new software handle that?
You see, in my department, I don't go by what clock track says, whether it's 7:40, 7.75 or 8:25. We go by the times. So if you punch in at 7:42, let's say Angie, and she gets to work and she gets busy, and she claims those, 18 minutes, I'll pay her for those 18 minutes. But if I know so-and-so comes in and punches in at 7:42 and goes out and has 3 cigarettes before 8 o'clock, then I'm not gonna pay them for that time. And so it's really, dependent on the employee and if they're getting to work or not, and so that falls back on the supervisor.
So that your department doesn't have it.
Everybody should do it.
It should fall under.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have talked about that, I think, they get the rules set. Exactly.
I guess what I'd like to suggest, it sounds like we have, issues with regards to, time track, clocking in, accountability of our government employees, so I'd like to suggest, Cory, at, the next, senior management meeting with the council that we discuss that, and also, that information needs to get to supervisors also, because not all the supervisors attend the senior management meetings, but, I think that needs to be defined and across the board for everybody. Because, my training when I was working at health was, you're to be ready to be at work and at your desk at 8 o'clock. That's what the policy states. So you should be actually at your desk at 8 o'clock working. So I think we need a meeting on that and, tighten that up a little bit. Thank you, Miranda.
Next, we have Eddie.
I'd just like to say again and reiterate again the importance of handling things like annual leave and clocking in and different things like this. The way we're doing it, I just approve that for days. I just think that's the way to do it. I mean, we don't get in we heard some different points of view on it, and anybody watching the meeting can see and come up with their own opinions or whatever. But I just love how we're doing it now in an open meeting. That would not have been the case a few years back. This would have been a closed discussion, and don't tell anybody, and all that stuff. So I just think this is the way to do it, and I'm happy with that.
Okay, Ed?
Okay, good morning. I'm here to request the sole source for the service co-op to install fiber at our public works building in the amount of $5,839.80. This is to tie public works into our network.
Oh, okay. Currently they're not.
Currently, they're not in our network, so now they'll have access to CRGIS stuff when we have it up and running. A lot better internet connection, their speeds will be a lot faster, and we'll be able to back up all their files and stuff on our servers also.
Is Public Works, are you covering the cost, Joel?
Yes, Joel's agreed to cover the cost.
Okay. Call for a motion to approve the sole source to Northeast Service Co-op to install fiber for Public Works. Moved by Travis, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Brandon, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, Ed. Okay, last we had is, you wanted to add the Elders Committee?
Yes.
And the release of funds to the program.
Correct. A little over a year ago, the tribal council froze the elderly activity funds, in a meeting, and those funds still remain frozen. Summertime is their active time, following and going to other reservations and other events through the, elder program. So I'd like to, call for a motion to release those funds, for the elders' use.
I'll move to unfile those funds.
Moved by Travis to release the funds. Is there a second? seconded by Ray. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried. The other issue I wanted to bring up is the Elders Committee. The original intent of the Elders Committee, when it was presented back in the 1980s, was to have it be a mentoring program, a archiving program for stories and what have you, and then also to learn about tribal government and to be involved in the community and the language and the culture, and also with volunteering and then also having activities for themselves. The committee has not taken that direction, and I feel that the elders should be able to, or I would like to see them be able to have their own committee which does not involve the tribal government. It should be on their own through the programs and through like our Wisdom Steps program. Our elders are a treasure to us, and they know what they want to do, and I don't think the tribal government should have any involvement in the elders committee or what have you. So the committee was adopted in 1980s. I want to say 86, but I'm not correct on the date. I guess at this point I would like to request that our elders set up their own system through programs and Wisdom Steps, and have no government involvement with them, because this is how it should be. So I'd like to take a call for a motion to dissolve the current elders committee so they can regroup and form what they want, rather than have the tribal government tell them how to be.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea too, as, as long as they know that, if they have any, disagreements or anything like that, that it doesn't involve us, and, they should, we don't have any part in that. They, they're elders, they should figure it out on their own. So, I do like, the get-togethers and the dinners and things like that, but I too think that that should be a separate thing just for the elders, and not have any tribal council involvement there, because they do get together and they sit there and haven't seen each other in a while and tell stories and remember good old days and stuff like that. And I just think it's not a tribal council activity. It's a community and elder thing, and just buy them food and that'll be our part in it.
Call for a motion to, I would like to call for a motion to dissolve the current elders committee and bylaws, so that they're able to, how can I say this? So they are able to have their own input and guidance from themselves without tribal government involvement. And this is out of no disrespect for the elders, because I was the former chair, and it has lost its direction, and I think they need to refocus, and I think they can.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Brandon, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trav, all in favor signify motion to adjourn? Moved by Ray, is there a second? Second by Dave, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried. Thank you all for coming.